Hey there, church. Happy Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is such a wonderful celebration for the way that it points us to God's generosity all across our lives. I'm sitting in room 8 where evidence of our community's generosity is on display. Room 8 is the staging room for the donations that come in from friends, from school, from different organizations in the community. And right around Thanksgiving time, we tend to receive just a lot of donations. And so, isn't it great that part of our ministry is helping our community to be generous with us? That's just fantastic. When we get to Thanksgiving, I know pretty quickly we start thinking about Christmas. It only makes sense because we have a world that just loves to rush us to Christmas, and that's fine as it is. But in church, we celebrate kind of a pause before Christmas. It's called Advent. Advent majors in waiting, and really nobody loves to wait, but it's part of life. And so Advent trains us to be people who wait with faith and hope and love, and who wait with a measure of peace, entrusting our lives to God who is coming with good things. So Advent helps us to wait, not simply to celebrate the birth of Christ at Christmas, but to wait for the celebration that all creation will enjoy at Christ's coming again in majesty as the risen Lord, the one who will, yes, judge all things, but the one who, as the judge, will renew all things, set the world to rights, and make it so, as Revelation says, there is no more crying or mourning or pain, for the first things have passed away. Thanksgiving is a special time for our family when we think about our relationship with the church, because it was Thanksgiving week in 2011 when we first moved to Chesterland. So we've been here 10 years now, and so our hearts are grateful for the relationships that we have built together, the life we've shared together, and especially recently, we know that we have gone through our share of losses, including in our own family. Heather's uncle died, and his service is going to be the Monday after Thanksgiving. So for her family, it's going to be a Thanksgiving that's filled with abundance, but yes, tinged with loss. There's a poem or a poet, Mary Oliver. You may know that she's one of my favorites. And I think one of the gifts of Mary Oliver is that she sees the world as it is, a world that can be terrible and filled with loss, but also a world that contains so much gift, so much blessing right in the midst of it. And so I want to share a poem of hers at the conclusion of this e-update. It's called "With Thanks to the Field Sparrow, whose voice is so delicate and humble." I do not live happily or comfortably with the cleverness of our times. The talk is all about computers. The news is all about bombs and blood. This morning in the fresh field, I came upon a hidden nest. It held 4 warm speckled eggs. I touched them, then went away softly, having felt something more wonderful than all the electricity of New York City. And so it is my prayer for the church and for our world that as we continue to go through days that can feel hard, we will be in touch with the most wonderful things, the gifts of God, the presence of God, God's enduring suffering with us, that is wonderful in its own way, for how God is so invested in this world to which God is coming. So I do invite you to invest in Advent. If you come to worship in person, you will receive this brochure in the bulletin. This e-update contains all kinds of ways that we can engage Advent together, from our worship life to a devotional life and spiritual practices, to a way that we can reach out. And of course, on Christmas Eve, where we will share 2 services at 5 o'clock and 7 o'clock, 5 o'clock being a little more family friendly, and 7 o'clock having choir and brass, both of them with candlelight and the Christmas traditions that we have observed and loved so much in Christ Church. So church, happy Thanksgiving and a blessed Advent to you. Let's keep loving God, sharing relationships, serving others from the heart of Christ.